Okay, hi everybody. So this is my first time actually recording something from my uh, beautiful super ultra wide, and so I kind of had to like downscale everything. Um, the final result is 1920 by 540, because obviously my resolution 3840 by 1080 is not exactly something that will render nicely on YouTube. Hopefully everybody can see it now. Um, I'm already apologizing in advance to the people who do run a super ultra wide because this will probably look rather low resolution on your end. Um, Anyhow, so let's get started. So I'm actually currently working on this little interface for my adventure game jam game. We should actually look at the game jam itself. So this is what the adventure game jam looks like. There's 11 days and 10 hours remaining. There's $108, which is not what it's really about, but yeah, this is really about the experience, and in my case, I really want to show off my engine, which is a sort of a scum based. It's scum C based originally. I call it skunk, SCUNK. Um, Not yet sure what it actually stands for. It could stand for I don't know, script creation utility for nerdy nights or something. I'm not yet sure. It really depends on what my first commercial game will be called, I guess. If I keep up that tradition, I guess. But yeah, this is a really nice game jam, and I probably could have partaken as well with my graphical text adventure game, but OceanThrill. But I figured I'd start something new, and I've already got some nice. This is PlayStation 5 stuff. That's also something I would like to talk about. But yeah, there's some really nice tools and some really nice projects concerning Scum and Scum VM lately, I guess. This is actually the first time I've heard about this. I believe the music enhancement project. Maybe I'll find some time to look at this later. I think this is related to the way Scum VM actually renders audio effects and music because it can actually override the regular MIDI format, and you can use sort of like modern digital OGG music, Vorbis, and whatnot. So there's really, and this tool is also something I've recently discovered. I have not looked into this yet because I'm not currently running a Mac. I do have my old Mac, which probably this should run on Scum Explorer. That looks really nice. And it says here 7 max full throttle, so we're right in version 6 land of Scum. Um, should work with mine. Anyhow, back to my game for now, I guess. So I started off with an example. As soon as I'm done with the game jam, I'm actually gonna release. I've decided I'm gonna release the my version, my fork of Scum C. Uh, and yeah, the Scum engine is gonna be. It's gonna have quite a few improvements that are gonna be coming over the years. There are planned for the future. There's multiple graphical modes. You can still enter resolution manually, but there will also be graphical modes and a custom version of Scum VM, obviously, to actually a custom for these to actually like make this work. Because normally Scum games are either 320 by 200 or 640 by 480. Um, Pretty much up to version 7, including version 7, they were 320 by 200, and then for Scum version 8, they switched. So Scum version 8 is um, Curse of Monkey Island. I'm not sure if that includes full throttle or if full throttle was. Let me look. Scum versions. So let's see. No, Full Throttle was version 7. So maybe version 7 was already 640. What's the native resolution for Full Throttle? I'm a bit out of my element now. I thought it was 320. Yeah, it is 320 by 200. Okay, never mind. Um, yeah. So yeah, 640 by 480 was exclusive to version 8 and to the later humongous releases. They were starting up, I believe, as a fork of version 6 of Scum, but they added like higher resolutions, which is not a problem at all. Like, um, it wouldn't be a problem with the Sputum interpreter. It's definitely not a problem for Scum VM if you can add that render code to it. It's not hard. So in this case, we're actually starting off with a classic 320 by 200, and right now I'm pretty much working on the verb GUI. So the way I want to move all of these elements to the left. These brains here, they will probably get some nice color cycling effect later on. And they're just they're just there for decoration. They don't have right now. I maybe could consider using them in place of these arrows for the inventory later on. But right now, the idea is, which is something I actually found, and let me see if I have the freaking photo still. Simon the Sorcerer. Um, yeah, so Simon the Sorcerer, I was looking at a lot of interfaces because I really want to optimize for space here, for screen estate. And Simon the Sorcerer did something interesting. They have the inventory in the center, and then you have the verbs on the left and the right. And I'm doing something similar. So my idea is to have like character verbs on the left, and for now we're gonna keep later on we're gonna keep the once I'm done here we're gonna so short term we're gonna keep the right side empty probably, but later on I plan on maybe adding a second character, and then the second character's head would pop up here, and they would have like special verbs that are not applied to this character. Um, the character would control similar, I guess, to Sam and Sam and Max, or not, sorry, Max and Sam and Max hit the road, and also like if anybody ever played Open Quest, which is also part of Scum C, there's a port in Scum C. There's like this character that you can actually control. You can control him passively. Actually, you can control him actively as well, but point still stands. The point is that there will be a second character that will just randomly move along the screen with you, and just does its own thing. And I could control that character by having like its own move set in the right section here, and have some verb section there. The thing is, which I'm still kind of struggling with, is I'm actually gonna change the resolution. So right now it's 320 by 200. If anybody's wondering about the title Dunning Mells, that's sort of like a working title. So the theme of the game jam is Dunning-Kruger effect, and so my game will have animals at a school, so Dunning Mells, so animals and Dunning-Kruger effect. So basically, I think, yeah, a portmanteau of those two words. But yeah, anyhow, let's actually get going and let's move some stuff there. So we got pick up, talk to, and I think I want either look at. Well, look at should probably be on top, to be honest, because it's would be most used. So I think pick up, talk to, and then we'll have the give down here. So we could look at this, and the this is what the verb background actually looks like. Obviously, the verbs are being drawn by the engine itself. In this case, we just need to look at use, because use has the right y-axis already. So we're gonna look at give. There's a current verb give, and then we set the y coordinates to this one, the same as use. Use will be moved later. And then I guess let me look. What did we set the other ones to talk to? So let's see what. Actually, let's look at pickup. Let's look at pickup for the x coordinates. 78 seems probably fair. Let's try. So there's still a lot of it's not like a modern engine by any stretch of the word. There's still a lot of it's very code centric. Just like the original Scum, the original Scum did have some nice tooling for its time, some DOS era tooling, but yeah, it's not like modern tools. It's not like Unity or Godot, which I have down here, which my last game was done in. It was actually done in Godot 3.5 because I want to run it on Xbox as well. So it actually ran nicer on Xbox than on PC. And I just realized I didn't mention there's probably you've noticed by now there's probably got some jittering in the audio department because I got a day before I got laid off from my last company. I actually got a new conference microphone, and I've yet to actually figure out how to use that properly. The audio quality should be good, but yeah, it's kind of jittery, especially when I use OBS. But there's no real alternative to OBS, so yeah. Regardless, we can recompile this. Currently, I'm compiling this as Tentacle, as a Tentacle, because that's pretty much the only way a regular Scum VM would recognize this game automatically without any patches. Interesting. Huh. Now that's confusing. I don't need to get moving just a second. This should. Did I compile this correctly? Well, the error is unrelated, I think, but make clean, make tentacle. The error is unrelated because I don't have any sound files. Did I? Well, that's strange. I'm just gonna take a short break here. Just give me a sec. Huh. Okay, welcome back. So I think I figured it out. Apparently, when you do make changes here, let's see. Let's do 160, and then we'll recompile. And we do, yeah, so this does not actually, when I restart in ScumVM, it apparently does not re-render which is kind of obvious, I guess, because it would be way too fast. It's re-rendering the scene, but it's not actually re-rendering, which is now black, so there's no point in re-rendering the scene. But it doesn't actually re-render the verb interface, so we have to basically go do a Control F5, return to launcher, and start it from here, and then it will actually. Oh, now it's screwed up. Oh yeah, right, because I didn't recompile. So yeah, that's the solution, I guess. It's a bit annoying, and I don't remember it quite from before. I think it's still if I do change if I change objects or anything else, it will still actually do something there. We can already look at the book. This is from my so this is actually from my example code. So that's why there's no background and no character. Once my engine is public, there will be examples. There's plans for more examples, but there will be examples for stuff like custom cursors, which we can actually look at, I believe. I'm not sure if they're compiled for this Scum VM. I hope so. Yeah. So there's like custom cursor stuff, and there's no logic behind it yet. But yeah, you could make a game like 7 Max where you just have like in the bottom left corner you just have an inventory icon, and then you would just have like all this stuff, everything attached to the right mouse button. That would work nicely. Um, but yeah, there's gonna be one change that I talked before. I unceremoniously quit out of the stream. Well, not stream, the video recording. And that is there will be custom resolutions. There will be mode 0 through 4. There will be a mode X, which is the mode I'm currently gonna be implementing after I'm done with the interface, and that will be 320 by 180. So mode X is 320 by 180 because that's basically the mode that scales to. That's the same mode that Animal Well used. Obviously, didn't call it like that, but the point is the same resolution. Yeah, it's 320 by 180, and the premise of that resolution is that you can actually scale it all the way up because 320 by 180 goes nicely to 1080p. It goes nicely to 4K, 144p, 40p. It does all these resolutions rather nicely, and you don't need to stretch anything. So it's like a pixel perfect resolution, even though it doesn't leave as much space for actual actual artwork. That's actually something I'm still struggling with. So that's why I really need to keep this whole thing compact. Um, I still don't know. I will have to get rid of most of this up here. So either I make the text like really small, or yeah, I have to probably render someplace else. Maybe I have to actually place this near the inventory or under the inventory. We'll see where I place it. Point is, I need to get rid of this because I need to gain like 20 pixels. Um, otherwise, I have to like really. Otherwise, I really lose out a lot on the background, which is not nice either. Um, this does not obviously this doesn't scale well to super ultra wide. That looks horrible. So, but it this is like stretched anyways. This is not the this is still 320 by 200. Um, yeah, I need to rework all the artwork, and then it should fit in nicely, hopefully. But yeah, let's try adding more stuff here. Um, obviously, we need a look at. I think the look at should probably be here, even though it's. I mean, most people will probably know that's on the right mouse button, right button clicked. Okay. Um, really working with bare bones code, example code that I wrote a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna have examples for color, cycling, examples for stuff like this, which is also not fully functional yet. There's still a lot of work to do. Pretty much example code for anything you can think of. Maybe example code for title screen, which this time I won't implement actually. The game will, as soon as you enter the game, it will go right to the intro. Obviously, there will be examples for simple animations and simple intros. My idea is really to have a SCUMC fork that is really focused on ease of use for programmers, so you can actually really get into it. Uh, Probably still not going to be like SCI Companion or anything like that. We can look at SCI Companion for a second. But this is like, yeah, this is. They have like an amazing tool set here. They have an amazing tool set. They have like all sorts of editors. We do have editors too, but I'm actually going to replace lots of these editors. They're all written in GTK 2. Not going to rewrite them in GTK 3 because I'm not a fan. Um, probably gonna rewrite them as a modern sort of web, like probably using wasm, but yeah, probably rewriting this as a modern web stack sort of dealio. Originally, I had the idea of using tools because somebody actually wrote tools. Um, somebody actually wrote tools. Levostain Scum. So this guy actually wrote tools for Scum. The cost editor, that would have been really interesting. He never finished that one. The room editor would also have been really interesting, even though it requires, according to him, changes to ScumC. I probably could have made the changes to ScumC. The problem is, I asked the guy for the source code, and he told me he would be looking for it, and he never got back to me, even though I kind of reminded him a couple times on this website called Adventure Treff. It's a German website, but he kind of never got back to me. It's kind of sad because I would have really liked the source code, and I had this idea because it says here Pure Basic, and Pure Basic is there's like an older version of Pure Basic. It even says here portable. It says here Windows, Linux, OS X, which is now OS, Mac OS, Raspberry. What it doesn't mention is there's also an older version for Amiga, and you know where I'm going with this. It would have been really nice to have this on an Amiga. Like I could have a tool set for Amiga, that would have been quite awesome. But I think I'm just gonna go with like since this thing would need a really beefy Amiga anyways, which currently I don't have. I do have like a lot of stuff lying around to make it beefy 1200, but the only Amiga that is currently working in fully working order is my Amiga 1000 with the Persero 2, which is amazing by the way. Um, yeah, shout out to I forgot his name just a sec. Persero Amiga. I want to get his name wrong. I think it was Dave or David. I don't remember the name. I'm really bad with names right now. I'm sorry. David. He used to work for NASA. Oh shit! I missed that promotion. 8-bit boys. I think I ordered it later, so I probably wouldn't have. David Dunkley, that was his name. Yeah, he used to work for no, not NASA. He used to work for the U.S. Space Force. Um, really cool dude. Shout out to David Dunkley. Sorry, I forgot your name. I'm really bad with names lately. All this stress and all this like family drama that's going on, and yeah, it's really taken a toll on my mind, unfortunately. Anyhow, let's just go back to the game and figure out what we want to wear. So I think pickup, next to pickup, maybe look at. Um, I mean, we can always change that later, but I think I'm kind of partial to having a look at here and then use down here, maybe. I mean, technically, it's really tough to actually. We're getting rid of move anyways. We can get rid of move for now. Don't need that many friggin' verbs. Getting rid of move. There's probably make sure that move is taken from there as well, because obviously there's like common phrases in the common. So common SCC is basically the entry script. It's basically where all the stuff lives that would be true for the entire game. Like simple gameplay mechanics like saying what happened. Like you need basic default phrases when something can't be moved or something can't be accomplished, like here. So this would be in the common SCC. Gonna remove that. it. Okay. And then we also need to remove it. Because this is C-like, so this also has to be declared everywhere. And we also need to remove it from here. Just need to make sure that, interesting. Safe verbs, inventory items. Do. I think we can get rid of that part entirely. I think that part was still taken from OpenQuest. But yeah, we can get rid of that here. Move. I didn't know that was a main verb. Interesting. Restore verbs. Okay, cool. Not so cool, actually. Okay. I think we need to change that. Is that it? Oh, wait. Yeah, I think we need to change that. To be honest, that's something I've not worked with. That's just something I copy pasted. My guess is that this is like the argument number. Maybe. Oh no. Huh. Well, that's freaking great. Well, I have to undo that stuff here. For now, we'll just treat the thing like it doesn't exist, but we won't actually remove it. Let's try this compile again. Oh my god, it doesn't compile. Common SCC. Yeah, obviously we have to redeclare it here, and then it looks like it worked. Okay. Let's actually clean this up. Clear. Mechanical. Just want to make sure that everything works at all times. Yeah. Okay. So we got move back. And move is not doing anything because there's no objects or anything. And now it just does no, because no would be, I assume that would be the regular, the default if everything else falls through. Yeah. So we have a default. It's really like basically. Originally, I thought about like changing a few things and giving a nudge to the original script language, which was also C-like, but actually used snake case. So, for example, instead of ego say, you would say ego say. But I don't think a lot of C programmers would be used to that, and it's not exactly nicer, to be honest. I could have done like underline or something, but I'm fine with. Also, not snake case. Did I say snake case? That would be kebab case. Snake case would be this, right? Yeah, you get me. But yeah, the point is, by the way, I hope the issue with my jittery audio is gone now. So what I have to do for now is just mute the desktop audio, and yeah. I'm not a fan right now of. I don't have these issues when I'm in X11, but recently I'm having issues with X11. So I'm in a Wayland session on my Pop OS, and so I have to use Pipewire and the Pulse Audio to Pipewire bridge, and there's still some issues. It's been a great improvement, but there's like tooling like this where macOS is obviously superior, and even Windows is. Regardless, we can move that verb for now. We can still remove it, I assume, right? It's just that the code still has to have it. Yeah, we can at least remove it. So I'm gonna make a mental note that I actually need to remove any code referring to move. For now, it's fine because it's pretty much empty. So yeah, use. I feel we want to have use down here, to be honest, on the bottom. I'm I'm a bit partial or impartial about the open verb. Do we need an open verb, or should it just be use? Should we use instead of open? So traditionally, scum games have to have open, of course. Looking at more modern takes of the genre, when I look at Air of the Dog, for starters. So if you look at Air of the Dog, it has a look at, it has a pick up, talk to, and a use. So it's very simple. And then you have, and what I consider kind of smart, what I probably will do as well, they do have basically additional verbs, but they have items linked to them. So if you use the stopwatch, for example, um, the time will progress, and your man here will turn into a werebeast, into a were-dog. So that's kind of a nice detail. I think Lucid Dreaming did the same actually. I only played the demo and I was quite fascinated by Lucid Dreaming. It was a random discovery, and then I saw that Air of the Dog was actually on Kickstarter. Back then, I still had a job, so I ordered both. So I'm getting both these boxes eventually, which I really look forward to. And the guy who's making these games is really nice too. He actually has a resolution, conflict resolution. He actually did a whole little job on the blog post. He actually made a blog post about resolutions. This is what Monkey Island 2 would look like on a modern display if it was completely unscaled. And then if you stretch it, it's not gonna fit because yeah, well, it's gonna fit, but it's gotta be stretched. So, and he actually opted for 480 by 270, which is also a nice resolution. There's actually, let me look later if I can find a table. Somebody actually made like a little Google table about compatibility with common resolutions, with like these low resolutions and how they upscale to modern resolutions, higher resolutions. Can't even say modern anymore because like Xbox Series X games are running at 520p or something like that, like some ridiculously low resolution, like Alone in the Dark. I found out that the developer actually went under. They actually closed it because the game didn't sell well, which is a shame because there's things I didn't like about it either. That they changed too much about the story, the whole plot line, and what is real, what is not. It's kind of weird. Um, because in the original, you pretty much knew there were ghosts and everything, but now in this new version, it kind of seems like the uncle just has schizophrenia or something, and it's kind of weird. It's really kind of weird, but it's still a shame that they closed down. Great game. Um, anyhow, I feel like partial about moving look at next to pick up. The brains might get on the way a bit, but we'll have to see. So look at is already, that's kind of the beauty of that setup, I guess, that I kind of did now, because we can at least get it correctly in terms of well, actually we didn't we didn't get it correctly here, because here it's, oh, interesting, I just noticed this is not quite, yeah, it's not quite the same height as this one, but I feel this is probably better to have it a bit up, even though it's not. uh, looking at this, I probably shouldn't. I know this is not how typical game jam is done. I should really be working harder on other stuff. But right now, I really want to get this correctly. Or yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna move this stuff quickly to here, And then I'll get rid of the open and I'll do the use. Or no, I'm actually keeping all three. You know what? Fuck it. Screw it. um, hopefully this won't get me. I'm not monetized anyway, so but hopefully like YouTube won't, because YouTube is kind of Puritan lately about saying the F word, which can't be avoided if you're in my industry. It really can't be avoided. Um, look at. So we're gonna place the look at here, and then we place the open under it, and then the use on the bottom. I feel, which is probably not ideal because that means the use is the furthest away from the items. We can probably change that later. I maybe have to put the give on the left and the use here because it's closer to the items, so it's more comfortable for the user. But that's just something to consider. But yeah, let's just move the stuff over for now. Look at. Um, so we're gonna look at. I don't even know if it looks better if I just keep it on this height. Honestly, we're just gonna keep it at this height for now, and let's look what. So I'd say 25 maybe. I don't really know where the point is, the hotspot is. So I would say 25 for look at. Yeah, this is a lot different. I get that it's not ideal. Maybe eventually I will come around and have a graphical tool to do this. Um, it's an old engine. It's an old engine that I'm trying to make modern. And this one is not nice either. So okay, look at this too far to the left. So maybe 30. It's very low resolution. So still, I mean, really, it doesn't matter if it's on the brain directly. So actually, it does kind of matter because there's no transparency here either. So the background kind of bleeds into it. But I think I don't want to be too over the top of this. I think it's okay. Maybe 2 pixels, just for good measure. 2 pixels. 2 pixels, and it should really be cleared. Yep. So we got. I don't know if it's. I don't know how it feels. It's probably not ideal. It's probably a bit of a mess. It's not like a perfect radial system. Pick up, talk to, look at. Okay. Right. So now I'm gonna take the right. I'm gonna take the open and put it down here, maybe. And then the use down here. It's not ideal. It's definitely not ideal. It's a bit messy. Okay, I'm gonna take the open and place it in the center, and then the use on the bottom, because that's how I would play it anyways. Right. So talk to. We're gonna look for the y coordinates for talk to. 174, and then we go into open. Okay, we do 174, and then we go, which coordinates do we have here? Look at, okay. So we're gonna do look at, that was like 30, so we're gonna ease it a bit, maybe, it's a shorter verse, so maybe 40, 38, 40, thereabouts. That's a bit stressful. Okay, it should probably be a bit not that much. um, And also, this is quite the opposite of this one. Yeah, because here it goes further away. It's probably gonna be a lot of design choices that I still have to make until then, but I really should at least get it sort of done. Actually, let's do 36. I don't want to waste too much time today. I got a room to draw, and I'm not sure I will draw the room when I'm on air. It's still not perfect, to be honest. Does it? How does it look like? It's not. Yeah, maybe I'll even add this closer, make this closer. We don't yet know. This is more like a list. I feel like a vertical list, and this is more like a radial. So we'll see. Um, Regardless, just place to use now. It's the last one left. And yeah, this is the problem with these old engines, or technically not these old engines, it's the old tech itself. Because we're using index colors, 256 colors, we can't have an alpha channel. So we can't have, like, there's probably ways to fake it, like they did on Sega Genesis. But we don't really have alpha. We don't have alpha transparency. So um, there's this weird background. There's ways to fake it by having like vertical or horizontal strips that are like different colors, but yeah, no real transparency, no real alpha at least. We do have transparency actually. We can set transparency fully transparent, at least for. Okay, why is it not popping up? Huh, interesting. I guess we only have it in another example. Guess I didn't implement it here. There it is. We do have set cursor transparency, so we do have like simpler ways to set transparency. And what this does is basically it picks the color, the index color in the parentheses, and it makes this fully transparent. But there's no like opacity or alpha channels or anything, so it's quite simple. So if you can look, this is quite nice about Azaprite, that you can actually like really look at the coloring and then apply the proper color. So 224. Traditionally, that is actually the traditional color for just applied here. This is the traditional color that Scum used and ATS used as well. That's usually the color you pick. Right, you want to make transparent. Sorry, I'm tired today. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm gonna make another break, and I'll be right back, and I'll just cut all of this into one video. Um, yeah, see ya. All right, so I finally figured out how to get rid of the audio issues for the crackling. So it turns out I had to remove desktop audio and just set this to my main audio device, and now it works just fine. Um, I'm actually gonna want to look at something with you. The color cycling that is was very much undocumented. I'm still not sure about argument number 2. You can set this to 0. You can set this to 60. Any random number doesn't really matter as long as it's a positive number. Um, I don't see it making any difference. So I'm not sure what this is, but I documented the obvious parts. So the first argument is the frequency in milliseconds. That cannot be lower than 1, obviously, because if we set this lower than 1, that's a different project now. But if we do set it lower than 1, that will give me a floating point exception, obviously. So we're keeping it up 60 milliseconds. And this is the starting color, obviously, and so again, if we look at Azaprite, then we can see here we have indexes for all the colors, and that's just the palette entries that are being chosen. So if we have a starting position of 0, and then we have a last color in the cycle at 3, then it starts at index 0 and it goes all the way through 3. And that's basically it. And I don't know what the second argument is. Maybe somebody can actually clear this up. Somebody in the Scum VM community. I haven't really looked into it yet. Not too much. But yeah, so I actually fixed these examples somewhere because, quite frankly, these things are not even being used here. The voices are not being used in the original examples. Just haven't pushed that yet. I have it on my old Mac Mini, so lots of sound code on there that I've been working on. And if you can hear it in the background, that's my cat. Uh, he's he's quite thin, even though he has like a condition, and he has to basically he doesn't have to, but he eats like if he could, he would eat every single hour, and obviously I can't do that. So his medicine is also 4 hours away, and he doesn't like his medicine anyways. But yeah, he's out there screaming uh, from the top of his little lungs because he wants to be fed again. Although I fed him an hour ago, so I can't do that. I can't feed him again. Because of the medicine, he's also having diarrhea a lot. So that's yeah, poor little guy. Had him for a long while. His brother, unfortunately, that's when his illness started. His brother was kidnapped multiple times by my narcissistic father who wanted to hurt us. Now he's gone for good, and I've got a new younger cat who is really cute as well. But this guy is an old timer. He's like 15 now, so yeah. His health is overall good. It's just that his illness. I hope it will stop eventually. It's really kind of annoying. He does that every night, every day. And then when I open up, he's just asking for food. I can't feed him again because I've only fed him an hour ago. Um, he can't make a habit out of it. Um, and he gets fed way too much, anyways. He gets fed like 4 times a day. Most cat owners I know don't feed their cats 4 times a day. Um, Anyhow, so I kind of wanted to show off the color cycling, what it looks like when I do it like this in the road code. So I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna count down from 5. So if you have an issue, if somebody has an issue and can't actually look at flashing lights, I would ask you to just like fast forward to about 10 seconds from after I've counted down to 0. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Yeah, you can see the flashing lights here. That's the color cycling, and that applies to the entire room palette. So just wanted to show this off. Okay, welcome back to those who can't look at flashing lights. Um, I hope I avoided an episode for you guys. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to show this off, and this will eventually become its own little example. I'm going to draw a little waterfall. I actually had one on my website once. Maybe I can find a file still for that one. Um, Uncompressed files without because there's only a GIF animation on there. And yes, it's GIF. I've said GIF most of my life as well, but it's GIF. um, but yeah, there will be an example of like a little waterfall, some running water, something that can actually take advantage, or maybe fire. It could be anything. Maybe I will even have fire and a waterfall because you can easily have multiple cycles. You can have cycle test cycle 2. This is the type obviously, and this is just a random object name that you apply to it. You could probably there's some functions I believe that you can actually use with this variable name or object name. So interestingly, this is sort of the ScumC. ScumC is sort of object oriented in a small fashion because rooms are all objects. So if I do a room, well, it doesn't know the room here. Let's see. Oh, this cat isn't. I don't. Okay, so a room would be like. Um, okay, where's the room? Let me just quickly clean. Here. So there's like. Am I blind? Am I in the right directory? I don't see the files. Oh, it's all in one file, I guess. It's just one large file. Yeah, whatever. We've got road. So we've got a road, and the road has a. This is a weird example, by the way. I don't see it even say see a. There really. To be honest, I've not looked at it at that example much, but apparently um there's not a header file or anything. Normally there's a header file. Um, but yeah, regardless, you can rooms have objects and rooms have methods or functions normally. They're called scripts. Local scripts are really just local. You can't call them from outside. Um, but normally you have like scripts attached that you can like call. Probably a bad example here. Let's actually go inside OpenQuest. So in OpenQuest, if we look here, we can see we can actually call the namespace office room or the class office room, just like in C++ or other languages. And we can then call variables from in there or functions, scripts. So that's quite nice. Here we have a script dialog add. If we look here, I'm really not at my best explaining things today. But yeah, we have this is being defined in the header, just like in C, and then we have the script itself, the function. The script is literally just a function, and it's just like in C. So, and this is part of the room dialog. So the room is a room is like a class basically. So a script that is inside the room dialog can be called by doing, as we said it before, dialog and then dialog add. Obviously that wouldn't work here, and then we do a character something something whatever. But yeah, that point is that would actually work sort of like an OOP language. There's still differences to an actual object-oriented language. Still more C-like than C++-like, but that's actually something I'm trying to change. That maybe some more data-oriented design to it, and maybe some ways to have namespaces for everything, not just rooms. But yeah, let's actually go back to our project here. And just compiling this again. Right. So we're gonna finally place the use. The use. We're just gonna look for open again. Oh, that's the wrong example still. There we go. And I actually just realized I forgot making it taller. Hopefully it was readable. Um, sorry, I just realized it's probably not very readable. So let's go back to the cycling here. This is the line. This is the line that we were talking about a couple minutes ago. Yeah, that cat is driving me nuts still. It's not his fault, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. Right. And yeah, what I just talked about again, since this is also was also done in a IDE with a low small font, this is what I've been talking about. Dialogue add something something. This is how you would do it in this language. Sorry, I'm really not at my best today. Let's actually get going and let's finish this though. So we have open to place. We have open to place. So no, was it open? No, use. We have use to place. We know this one is correct, so we're just gonna do a. Let's actually do 36. Let's see where it places that. And this does not work, unfortunately. So the launcher. It's okay, I guess. I'm probably gonna change this a lot, anyways. Let's actually do 38 because it needs to be closer to the border now. I mean, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do this part like a list as well, so it's just below it instead of this weird. Yeah, maybe I'll do it more compressed because I do need to compress it anyways a bit. We need. So again, the plan is to eventually switch to 320 by 180. Now we're at 320 by 200. And the cool thing is, because I want to have this game on a classic CRT monitor as well, so I could make a version as well that runs in a classic 320 by 200 resolution on a DOS computer or an Amiga or an Atari ST. So that would not be an issue either. I could just, if I ever end up finishing this game and porting it to other platforms, and these other platforms are 4 by 3 instead of 16 by 9, I could very easily just add 20 pixels that I'm now going to take away, and then this renders in 4 by 3 mode, so that would not be an issue. So that's really kind of nice. And yeah, actually, so let's actually go 30. We said 36, so actually let's try 38 here. And that should pretty much cover it. Okay. Yeah, looks fine. Okay, there's actually a pixel. I'm not gonna pixel hunt this or whatever. Maybe I'll even, you know what? I'll actually even remove that pixel here. It kind of looks a bit square. Or does it? Which pixel was that? Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna get rid of this naturally because it kind of looks weird. So whatever. Let's do that again here. Right. It's still. Oh wait, we didn't compile. Oh, also didn't save properly. See, I'm using my last game. I just used the one layer and just it wasn't a good idea. So what I'm doing here is I'm copying the stuff over to I'm exporting the stuff to BMP, but the actual save dialog is using Azoprite. So I can have the Azaprite files right next to the with all the layers right next to the bitmap, which does not have the layers. It's still a pixel, well, whatever. You know, it looks fine the way it is. I'm not gonna complain now. For now, maybe I'll just use I could probably use a a background color that is the officially set transparency color for it. So then it wouldn't be an issue either way. But yeah, I think I actually like this one more than this one. But I'll fix this later. So the next thing we want to do is move the inventory over. Um, Obviously, these I might actually keep these items for the game. These are both items from the example I wrote for this whole interface. So again, the brains don't serve any purpose right now. I might use them as a replacement for these arrows here, or I might just put them right here. The arrows will move as well. The arrows will move inwards here probably. Maybe I'll even make them part of the inventory itself and get rid of the all the other stuff. Actually, I already got rid of the other stuff because the other stuff it's here, but it's already overwritten by the item right now, so it's not visible. Anyhow, enough talking. Let's actually. So we need talk to. What's talk to at is 90. So I'd say it's about 95-ish. Inventory. Let me see. Where's the inventory slot? Slot. Right. I think it's this one here, to be honest. Obviously, I'm not an original designer of this language or of Scum, so yeah, that seems correct. Obviously, it's not close enough, though. That's an easy fix. Let's do 105. And obviously, we could just also look here. Yeah, 110. 108, 110. Yeah, 108. We'll try 108. Right. So actually, what I'm doing is I'm looking down here. So this left bottom corner, you go here, you can see sort of where your cursor is. That's very helpful. Eventually, again, I want to have proper tooling eventually, but right now that's not the focus. It's not the priority. Oh, it's still not? Did I not compile? No, it did compile. The 108 is still not quite it. 110? It's kind of weird. I think what I did is yeah, okay, that's my issue actually. I'm using square pixels, but I'm in 320 by 200, which is a DOS resolution. There's dozens of videos about it. It's not a square resolution, so before I probably will need to actually go back here and do some changes after, because the pixel is in a 320 by 200 resolution. The pixel is it wider? I think it's wider or higher. Higher or wider. One of these two. There's videos about it. Yeah. My cat is really horrible right now. Right. Still not. Okay. 110. Huh. Okay, let's try 120, I guess. Okay, that looks promising. So look at is automatically right click is look at, which is a bit confusing because this shows actually the right click, but if I click it, actually it makes sense because it says use there and then it says look at there. Yeah, I think that's the design I like actually. Just a list instead of like having a radial part. And it's compressed enough because I will probably need to move the pickup down anyways, as much as I liked it originally up there, because I do need to save some space. And I will probably cut some space down here and then the rest of the lines up here somewhere. And then we'll have to see how I do that. So my other cat is still outside, so maybe that's why he's worried. I don't think so. I just left him outside like 10 minutes ago, or 15, before I started the recording, so it shouldn't be an issue either. And yeah, I think I will merge this into here, maybe, this area. We'll see, or maybe I'll leave it here on the side, where it actually was originally. And yeah, the point is that I will have enough space for another of these icons, little icons. It's a character, basically. And then I have verbs here as well, if I have a second character. So I think that's a decent system. And yeah, we'll see. I'll actually make this part black as well here. This should be part of the inventory as well, so there can be at least 3 items in there. Still not totally accustomed to that resolution because the original like Monkey Island sprites, inventory sprites, they're even smaller than mine. I don't know how they pushed all that detail in there because I really can't get all that detail in there. I think there were like 16 by 24. And yeah, mine are 32 by 32. So there's probably still a lot of potential for making it better art-wise, but for now that's pretty okay, I guess. And yeah, I need to push this closer to here, and then maybe it looks better. But that's all like small details. Later on today, I will actually draw the first room. I'm not very good drawing things when I'm on air, so I will probably do the drawing off air and then just explain the coding here. Maybe eventually I'll do a drawing stream, but right now I'm not ready for it. So since I had a PlayStation 4 video, a PlayStation 5 Pro video open on my YouTube, I would like to talk about that for a second. I found out today that it's 799 euros, which is quite maddening, to be honest. I have an Xbox Series X, which I got for Christmas, and I would have loved the PlayStation 5 for Christmas, but back then they weren't discounted, and I didn't want to spend too much. I was already disappointed when I got the Xbox Series X because I found out too late that the Diablo game is just a download code and not an actual physical copy of the game, which probably for Diablo doesn't make sense anyways because it's an online game, but it would have been nice actually because I collect games, so there's that. Didn't pay too much for that. I paid a $430 with Diablo, and then I got like half a month Game Pass for like $1, so that was not too bad. I did get a discounted PlayStation 5 Slim a couple months later, and then I had to return it because I had to pay my lawyer because my dear father was suing me again and reporting me to the police. I don't know why I even got a lawyer, to be honest, because he couldn't prove anything because I've not done anything. So in the end, it was struck down because he didn't even have evidence. He kept saying that I was assaulting him when I wasn't even at home at the time. And there's proof of him assaulting people, assaulting me, assaulting mom, but there's never been proof of me assaulting him because I just didn't assault him. But I still got a lawyer and ended up paying the cost of a PlayStation 5, and so I returned it because I wanted to not spend that much money in a month. So there's that. And now I find out that the PlayStation 5 Pro is at least $800, and I'm kind of a bit mad about it because there's not a lot that it does better, to be honest. I mean, for that price, it's quite insane, I have to say. There's no stand that comes with it. The disk drive is an extra $100 at least. Doesn't come with disk drive. Totally fucking insane. Sorry for the F word, YouTube, but yeah, it's totally insane. It doesn't come with disk drive. There's 2 terabytes. Um, cool. Could need it, I guess. I do need 2 terabytes for my Xbox, to be honest. But it's overall, it's kind of disappointing, and I feel they're pushing their little standards on it because they have this super resolution thing, and instead of just actually implementing AMD solution, they just came up with their own custom solution again. And there's already people complaining that there's developers complaining that it's harder, I guess. And I've seen some Digital Foundry videos where usually the Xbox version is ahead by a couple frames in multi-platform titles, because the Xbox uses like DirectX. Um, on at least in indie developer mode, you can use OpenGL and Vulkan now via Mesa. I don't know if that's a possibility with the full dev kit yet, but there's better options, more industry accepted options than Sony's own thing. Even Nintendo has the option of actually allowing you to not use their proprietary API, but actually go the Vulkan route. That would have been nice. I don't know why they didn't just do Vulkan or something. Obviously, OpenGL wouldn't work anymore for AAA games, but they could have used Vulkan. It could have gone the Vulkan route. Um, Probably DirectX they couldn't have. But they could have done Vulkan, so that's pretty much my my input on that, my 2 cents on that. Um, yeah, for now, I actually I found this on on the Levosteen website. The guy who made these scum tools that are now unfortunately lost to time, I guess. The tools are still there, but the source code isn't, so it's not of use for me. But this is really interesting and this is really inspiring. None of the examples in Scum C actually did this the proper way, from what I understand and what I see. Um, they apply colors rather randomly in the palette. This is a Scum C palette, and this is the one from OpenQuest. And these are definitely not the text colors from what I've seen. So they just randomly throw in the colors up here, the darker colors, and then lighter colors down here, and then lots of white in between. Yeah, and I'm actually going to look at this, and I'm trying to implement this kind of system. So this color here, index 15, that is the color for the default cursor, which, to be honest, I'm not yet sure if I will keep the default cursor for the game. But yeah, that's why the default cursor is the same color as this as well in the game. That's why it's this little like light pinkish, purplish. And yeah, I will apply I will likely apply the color cycling effect I showed off to this here. Obviously, a lot slower, not 16 milliseconds, probably more like 60 milliseconds. And it will look like a little brain that just like goes up, like the veins in the brain that just like pump blood. It will probably look really nice, I think. But for that, I just need to get proper color management before, because right now it's all over the place. If you if you look at the orange here, so this is this orange here, and then the darker orange is up here. So it's, from what I can tell, it's still in this room area here. But yeah, they should be closer together, so I can actually they should be neighboring, so I can actually do a color cycle. So for color cycling, you need to have the colors next to each other. So you need a starting point and a stopping point, and all the colors in between are being cycled, including the stopping and the starting point. And if the colors are all over the place like here, then I can't do that, because I would have to start here and end here, and then the whole colors of the blue, the gray, the brown, everything would get cycled as well. So obviously this doesn't work. So that needs to change as well. But that's really cool. He has some really cool tidbits that I might actually add to my own Skunk Engines wiki. Maybe I'll actually change that, because I'm not a fan of German stuff. So I'll probably like take the same screenshot myself from the game and use an actual English version and fix some spelling mistakes. I think I've seen, yeah, permanent. So yeah, I'll probably add something like this to my wiki, to my documentation. And then he also, and that's something I actually quite love about Scum, is a lot of adventure engines, even back then, use pixel hunting. So you could have something that was, so this is a raster, and everything inside of here is at least 8 by 8 pixels. And normally, or not normally, but in these other adventure games that are not Scum Engine, you don't have that idea of having a raster or a hotspot. You sometimes have like pixel hunting built in. So you could have something this small, like literally this small white pixel here, and that is clickable. But in Scum, you don't have that. In Scum, you have a hotspot. So the smallest area that you can use is this 8 by 8 pixel square here, um, which makes a lot of sense because it makes things a lot less frustrating. But yeah, that's really freaking cool. We don't need that anymore. That was for the OBS stuff, troubleshooting that I was dealing with. But yeah, that's like really freaking cool, and I think I will. I don't know. I will probably have to recreate these things here, because if I can't get him to send me the source code, I don't know if he will ever read my inbox, my messages again if I ask him for permission to use this. So I might just recreate all of this myself. But this is a really nice website, Levosteen. Um, I've actually followed the guy since I was a teenager. Like I remember the guy had like a he was before he got into Scum C, he was working on I don't know if that's still there. Let me see if that's still on the website. Yeah, it is. So he had his own engine. That's all German, of course. But he had his own little engine, and he was creating a sort of parody of Monkey Island. I don't think he ever finished it. And he's still, you can still download it here. Look at these file sizes: 240K, 313 kilobytes. The music in MP3 is larger than the whole friggin' demo of that game. Um, but he programmed that in his own little engine, and this engine was written in QBasic. And QBasic is how I started getting into programming, and it's really cool. I thought I remember him having the engine on here. I guess not. Maybe that was somebody else. It was really fascinating back then. It was really fascinating time, like in the 90s, early 2000s. when a lot of when indie game design was still in its infancy, and a lot of people took to like these old DOS engines, and it's amazing what they could do. Like, look at this. That looks almost like the original. I mean, he did reuse a lot of the artwork, obviously, from the first and the second game, but it's really cool what he could achieve with QBasic and a bit of assembly, because you always need a bit of assembly for the sound drivers, the graphic drivers, and especially the mouse drivers. You can't do that in just pure QBasic. But yeah, that's really cool. And this is SCI Companion. Um, Obviously, I can't develop my skunk engine in a total vacuum, so eventually I will probably look at what SCI Companion is like. Um, okay, so they use different palettes here. That's interesting. They render a night and a day scene in different palettes. Um, that's interesting, but that's for EGA. The cool thing is with the cool thing with let me see, I have it here. Okay, right. So the cool thing here is we have like a light switch in the Open Quest demo, and the light switch obviously has a state. And by the way, there's something I'll talk about it after I'm done here with this one. Um, so it has a state, and if the state is normally set to 0, and so when it's not set to 0, but it's set to 1, then we'll switch this over, and the intensity of the room intensity, the RGB intensity, the values are being changed. And that could also be used. I've not put this into action yet, but I know this could be used for like disco effects, like colored rooms. You could change the intensity and for the RGB values there. So that's kind of cool. But yeah. So yeah, about the state. So the problem about the state here, that's actually something I've tried here as well. I believe that's all code from OpenQuest still that is um, sort of hacked together. So this was actually a scanner. But here's the thing. I've tried changing the object state and having multiple states and multiple images here. I've removed that since, but normally you can have multiple states. You can have this, and then you can just add another state. This is just a hotspot of the item, but you could do like book 2, and then you can switch the state over to set object state 2, and then it's internally set to the state number 2, which you can call on, which you can query for actual stuff in there. I think here it's being used. So if the state is being set to 2, if you remove, because this was originally scanner, not a book, if you remove the batteries and if you open the scanner and the character removes the batteries, and the scanner is being set to state 2, and in state 2 the scanner no longer functions because there's no batteries inside. So that works, but the actual rendering part is not working. No matter what I try, draw object, which is actually linked to the exact same opcode as set object state, so probably going to remove that in future versions of the syntax. But no matter what I do, it does not work for inventory items. It does work for every other item, just not inventory items. I've decompiled scripts from, was it doorbell? I've decompiled scripts from official like LucasArts games, and they don't seem to do it either. They don't seem to just switch the state over either. They have multiple objects like the dime and the gum. in Day of the Tentacle. That's two objects, and then it's like it's a dime object, a gum object, and a dime and a gum object. So it's three objects actually, and it's kind of weird that it works like that. It doesn't have just states, multiple states. I mean, in this case, we probably do need two objects. I've also tried it with a frozen hamster, and I'm still struggling with that dump that I took. Like I dumped the states, the object states, but I've yet to find out how this works. They said different owners. There's an owner 14 in Day of the Tentacle that I don't know what it's used for yet. So yeah, really interesting stuff. I really hope I don't have to have multiple objects, and if I have to use multiple object states, because it's also annoying. The same is true for the mouse cursor as well. There, I had to, for my demo, I had to implement multiple cursor objects that it just switches on the fly, that it flips. But it would be much nicer to just have one cursor object and change the state. So it would also save a lot of memory, I feel, because it's a virtual machine. It's still internally it only has so much memory on the heap. So yeah, um, that's pretty much it for now, I guess. I'm gonna check on my cat now. So see you later.